From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
A high-speed chase on I-90 leads to a police shooting and one man dead. Coming up, find out how it all happened between Bozeman and Billings yesterday.
And the governor gets into trouble for trapping and killing a wolf just north of Yellowstone National Park. Also ahead, find out why he won't face stiff fines or other penalties.
Well, hey, Southwest Montana, and happy Wednesday. Holly Brantley here with Chet Lehman and Matt Elwell. And Matt, how's that forecast shaping up today?
You know, it's a little chilly this morning. I think the coats, hats, and gloves, not a bad idea for the kids as they're heading outside. Right now, seeing teens in 20s. The wind speed's up in that 3, 5, 7 mile an hour range, keeping the wind chills down into the teens. Cloud cover is trying to work its way back toward us. I do expect the temperatures to warm basically right into the 40-degree mark range. I think our daytime highs are going to be kind of capped as you head into the afternoon as that cloud cover rolls in. Tonight, the potential of some snow in parts of the area. We'll, of course, break down your complete forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Matt. A high-speed chase turned shootout on Interstate 90 leaves one suspect dead and shut down westbound traffic for several hours.
Yesterday, U.S. Deputy Marshal shot and killed the suspect between Columbus and Reed Point.
Chief Deputy Timothy Hornung says leading up to the gunfire, the U.S. Marshals Montana Violent Offenders Task Force was seeking a fugitive from Georgia.
Now, the Montana Highway Patrol tried to pull the driver over outside Laurel, but he took off on a 35-mile pursuit down the interstate. After the suspect hit 2 separate spike strips, the Montana Highway Patrol finally forced him off the road with a pit maneuver just west of Columbus. At that point, around 11 o'clock in the morning, authorities say the suspect walked away from the scene, turned towards law enforcement, and pulled out a gun. He ignored commands to surrender, and 2 deputies shot the man multiple times. No one else was injured.
Livingston police are releasing more information, including word that 2 men died after a shootout with each other Sunday morning. A woman had called police to say a man was harassing her and her friend. Law enforcement was not able to find him. The woman called back less than 2 hours later to say the same man, identified as 41-year-old Aza Ziegler, was actually in the home and that the situation was escalating and getting physical. As law enforcement was headed to the house, they were advised that shots had been fired inside the home. When they arrived, they made contact with Ziegler and tried to talk to him to get the situation under control and to resolve it peacefully. Law enforcement says almost immediately Ziegler shot himself and died. The other man there, 23-year-old Jason Cushing, died at the scene from gunshot wounds when he exchanged fire with Ziegler. The woman was treated for minor injuries.
In other headlines this morning, Montana Governor Greg Gianforte received a warning from the Montana Department of Fish, Wildlife and Parks last month.
It happened after he reportedly trapped and killed a wolf without having the proper education certification.
Now that's a violation of state hunting laws. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian picks up the story.
The first report of Gianforte's warning came Tuesday morning from the Mountain West News Bureau. The governor reportedly trapped the wolf on private property near Gardner, north of Yellowstone National Park. The state requires a valid trapping license along with the completion of a wolf trapping certification class. In a statement, Gianforte's spokesperson said, quote, "After learning he had not completed the wolf trapping certification, Governor Gianforte immediately rectified the mistake and enrolled in the wolf trapping certification course. The governor had all other proper licenses." MTN requested and received a copy of the warning that was given to Gianforte. A spokesperson for Fish, Wildlife and Parks said, quote, "Wardens have discretion on whether to write a citation or issue a warning. The governor was forthright in telling us what happened and everything else was done legally. In situations like this, we normally issue written warnings." FWP told MTN no written report was made on this incident. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Thank you, Jonathan. 6:34 now on the national scene. Monday's mass shooting at a supermarket in Colorado took place less than 1 week after multiple shootings inside spas occurred in the greater Atlanta area.
Naturally, many are wondering, will this spark any change in gun laws nationwide from lawmakers in Washington?
Our Joe St. George with a look at the gun hearing that took place in the Senate yesterday and whether anything will change as a result.
10 killed in a supermarket shooting Monday in Colorado.
Such a discrimination is a shame of human civilization.
Last week, the nation was grieving for 8 victims of the spa shootings in Georgia.
My heart goes out.
Both the first major gun tragedies in the presidency, of Joe Biden. But will it spark any change in laws?
President Biden called on Congress last month to pass background checks for all gun sales and ban the selling of assault rifles and high-capacity magazines. But Democratic leaders have been calling on Congress to pass gun reform for years, and not much has changed. And that very well may be the case in 2021 as well.
At least 10 people were killed in Boulder last night.
But Democrats on Capitol Hill are at least poised to try, holding a gun control hearing in the Senate Tuesday, which was scheduled well before Boulder took place. Each one of them aware of how difficult any change will be. In 2020, the National Rifle Association gave 94% of congressional Republicans A grades and 92% of Democrats F grades. The topic is extremely partisan. Democrats would need 10 Republicans to join them in the Senate to pass any new law. Republican Senator Ted Cruz's speech today an example of why that's unlikely.
And every time there's a shooting, we play this ridiculous theater.
Of course, the violence could prompt President Biden to issue some gun-related executive orders. It could also prompt Senate leadership to rethink the rules and the votes needed to pass gun laws. For instance, right now 60 votes are needed to stop a filibuster, and some progressives want that changed or eliminated so gun laws can pass with just 51 votes. While all of that is considered, a nation is left wondering, when will the violence stop? In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
Back here at home now, this morning we launch a new series featuring some of the fearless females of Southwest Montana.
That's right, fearless when it comes to business, what I like to call boss babes. These are the ladies who made it through the pandemic, overcame the obstacles, and now continue to thrive. We begin with our spotlight on Amy Darr, the owner of Pure Barre Bozeman.
7, 8, 9, and 10 coming back.
As owner and instructor at Pure Barre Bozeman, Amy Darr knows a thing or two about fitness, but that wasn't always the case.
This is what I tell everyone is, if you would have asked me if I had a career in fitness, I would have fell on the floor laughing, because I did not think that was my path at all.
She'd been a manager for Aveda for 20 years and says she never saw herself as a fitness guru, but Pure Barre changed all that.
I came in as a client and I was hooked after my first class. I just loved the community of people. The workout was great because I didn't feel like I was working out. I lost myself in the music. You were motivated by the people around you.
She became an instructor, then manager, and eventually co-owner.
Holding this one parallel.
Her favorite part, seeing the women who come in for a workout blossom as they find a new way to stay fit and so much more.
And then by like class 10, they're like blazing in, they know people. My favorite part is watching them evolve as a person and their confidence, and just them being in the studio and finding their happy place.
A feeling of love she shared so much the next transition was natural. Now she's taking over as sole owner of Pure Barre.
This has just been my happy place for so long that I just knew that this is where I wanted to be for a long time.
It's a milestone by any standard, but especially after the challenges brought in 2020 and the pandemic bringing changes daily.
I think in the back of my mind I knew that we would make it through, I just didn't know how. Coming up with new ideas, we basically had to build a whole new business. Online retail, every day I was dropping off deliveries of people that bought through our Instagram, so we had to start Instagram sales, we had to do online classes. I was here and my staff were here every single day that we were closed doing our online classes.
As luck would have it, Pure Barre had already implemented a format for online classes, but the real key, she says, was the close team of instructors that rallied to teach those classes and the Pure Barre community that wanted to stay connected even when they had to be apart.
I would just say that find those people around you, find your support system, that the people around you that will help you get through it, because you can't do it alone.
A fiery fusion of fitness and friendships, the formula for success at Pure Barre Bozeman.
I knew that we would make it through, and I knew that we had to make it through for our clients.
Now, Amy hopes to show other business owners that when strong teams and strong women come together, anything is possible. We will be featuring different female business owners each month on Montana This Morning. Be sure to let us know if you know some boss babes and fearless females with great rebound stories.
It's fantastic. Congratulations to her making it through.
Yes, absolutely.
Good job.
We've
Hard
got
work
a
pays
lot
off.
we've got a lot of cool ladies to get to.
I can't wait to
too.
see the next installment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be here for that. Well, coming up, the Weather Service says it will soon be able to offer even more accurate forecasts. Find out why the agency says things are improving. That's after the break.
But first, let's check in with Anthony Mason to see what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, Vice President Kamala Harris joins us live for an exclusive interview. We'll discuss the push for stricter gun laws after the 2 latest mass shootings, plus the administration's plan to tackle the rise in attacks on Asian Americans and the growing crisis at the southern border. We'll also talk with Colorado State Representative Tom Sullivan about the Boulder supermarket attack. He lost his son in the 2012 Aurora Theater shooting. Hear his message to the families who lost loved ones this week. And actress Olivia Munn talks with us about how anti-Asian racism has affected her. Also, Hollywood's role in reinforcing stereotypes. All that coming up when we see you at 7.